was born to rule.
This'll all be mine?
Everything the light touches.
Wow.
But a shadow lies over the kingdom.
I will be king.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Bomb Squad Matinee, where today we are discussing a movie. I'm your host and master ceremony, Tanner Richard Kraft, and with me I have...
I'm Ralph Nader, and you better be prepared. This is just my shtick now. I'm just gonna reference obscure Flash cartoons from the 2000s every time I introduce myself.
a former presidential candidate. Topical. We're recording this on July 14th. Some shit happened in America yesterday is what I'm referencing. But
a little bit.
Today, some shit happened. Today we are discussing The Lion King, Disney's Hamlet. And for our opening question, what's your favorite entree at Red Lobster?
I like the lobster. I like how he's red.
Me too. Neither of us has been to Red Lobster. I couldn't think of a good opening question between the shit that was happening yesterday that kind of distracted me and the fact that it's The Lion King. It's The Lion King. It's The Lion King.
It is The Lion King.
How can I go back? I'm not who I used to be.
Remember who you are.
Tim, do you like The Lion King?
Yeah, Lion King's pretty good.
How about you talk about that?
Yeah. So I'll say this, like, I have sort of a weird thing with like Renaissance era and like classic era Disney movies where a lot of them I feel like I've probably seen once or twice, or maybe I just know the gist of it through cultural osmosis. But The Lion King is definitely one that I watched a lot as a kid. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite Renaissance era Disney movie. That might be Mulan, but we didn't own that one when I was a kid. I guess my mom didn't really like it. She doesn't like war movies, and that's a war movie. But The Lion King we had on tape, and I watched that tape over and over again as a kid. It's a good movie, and it's a good Disney movie. Like, it's a pretty, like, all-encapsulating example of, like, that era of Disney. And it's, like, it's a great kind of epic tale. Like, I'll be honest, like, Hamlet is a story that, like, I've never seen, like, a straight adaptation of Hamlet. Like, I've seen The Lion King, and I've seen The Northman, which is an adaptation of the source material that Hamlet was originally based on, apparently. But, that's just one of the Shakespeare big stories that has kind of eluded me for the most part.
Oh my god, Hamlet! I just saw a fucking vampire! It bit me right in the neck!
Big story. It's arguably his biggest, if not for Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. Romeo and Juliet's pretty big. Macbeth is pretty big. I know those ones.
Much Ado About Nothing.
Yeah.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
But that aside, though, The Lion King is a solid movie, and like it's a great kind of like little kind of epic story to experience at a young age. And like there's that thing that everybody talks about, how it's sort of the story that eases a lot of kids into the concept of death, with Mufasa's death. And I think it like really handles that really well. You alluded to this earlier, like watching this movie in 2024 as a 30+ year old adult in the political climate we're in right now, notwithstanding everything that happened yesterday, like it's still crazy watching a movie about sort of like the rise of a dictatorship. And then, you know, something happened a couple hours after I watched the movie. We'll just say that. But
where were you when you were watching the movie, Tim? What state were you in?
I was in a state of misery.
Aren't we all?
Truly. But yeah, that element of it is definitely hits different now when you have some political consciousness. I was looking into it a little bit, and like seeing how some stuff in the Be Prepared sequence was like literally modeled after Triumph of the Will. Literal inspiration from Adolf Hitler, and it looks familiar. I'll say that. It's a solid tale of Simba's sort of coming up on his own and then coming back to save his people, and learning the truth. And one more quick thing before I turn it over to you. I just want to say that like the final battle set piece is so inspired, like having this land that has been dried up from famine for like years, and having the lightning strike it and set fire. Like that's just such a great like set piece for like a final battle, and that's always stuck with me ever since I was a kid. Just real great creative design going into this, and that's my larger review of it, I guess. So I'll have more to say in general discussion, but I'll turn it back over to you, Tanner.
Yeah, especially because the thing with the wildfire, as I've rewatched it as an adult, I've realized with what I've come to know about how vegetation and wildlife works, that wildfire was probably pretty crucial for giving that ecosystem a reset so it could regrow.
Right, and I also think it's great how after the battle they have that sort of healing rain come down over everything. Just a really great kind of ending note.
Yeah. So The Lion King is probably my favorite Renaissance era Disney movie. Mm-hmm. It's either that or The Beauty and the Beast. I think both are pretty fantastic. I think all the Renaissance movies, sans Pocahontas, are pretty fantastic. Where do you begin with The Lion King? Full disclosure, I was not able to rewatch this before the recording like I wanted to, but it's The Lion King. It's based off of Hamlet, one of the most iconic Shakespeare stories of all time. I'm pretty sure I know it well enough to speak on it without having seen it recently. And what can you say about The Lion King that can't be said that Tim already hasn't really drawn upon? It's a fantastic story. It addresses the topic of death very well for a kid. The performances across the board are fantastic. Obviously, most iconic of which is James Earl Jones.
Oh, yeah.
So iconic that when they remade this movie as a piece of shit 20 years later, they brought him back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to say right here, The Lion King 2019, bad movie. Really bad movie.
I did not watch the shitty, ugly, photorealistic CGI Lion King movie, and I don't desire to. And I refuse to call it live action because it's not. There are 2 shots that were shot on camera. 2 shots. I got into a screaming match in a motion graphics class about this thing because somebody was like trying to say that it was a live action movie. It's like, no, it's not. It's not fucking live action. The teacher's like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
Why do you care so much? should have been his question. Why care this much? Because it made $1.5 billion worldwide.
Yeah, you can't hang on. You can't call it the most financially successful animated movie and a live action remake. Pick one.
I agree. You have to pick a fucking lane. It's really bad. This movie's about this episode's about the good movie that came out in 1994. But while I'm here, I'm going to talk about how bad that 2019 movie is. I saw that shit in theaters in Disney World with my entire family.
Ooh.
Do you know how much that would have, like, that should boost a Disney movie normally if you watch it in theaters with your family in fucking Disney World?
Yeah.
And I still thought it was bad.
That's like me seeing Rise of Skywalker opening night in the Omnimax. It's
ideal
like
circumstance.
The perfect presentation. And like at the time I was like, that was kind of fun, I guess. And then I just got angrier and angrier the whole next day.
That was me with The Lion King. As like that vacation went on, I got angrier. Like I remember at some point I just went to my partner at the time and I just went, how the fuck was that movie 30 minutes longer than the original?
Again, I haven't watched it. I'm made to understand the Whoopi Goldberg hyena got girl bossed. That's the thing, I guess.
Kinda. She has like 2 extra scenes. She doesn't have 30 minutes worth of material though.
I don't know. I just watched a Lindsay Ellis video that talked about
You
it.
didn't even need to do that. We're talking about a good movie today though, The Lion King 1994. I think the big thing for me about this one is that Disney movies, Disney animated movies, a lot of them have music. I know, Tim, you're not really a musical guy. You watch them sometimes and you have fun. But it's not really your bag per se. It is my bag, and I can say with confidence that every song in this movie, if you told me it was your favorite song from a Disney movie ever, I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty correct.
That's fair.
Be Prepared is an amazing song. Circle of Life, the opening number, is iconic for a reason. I Just Can't Wait to Be King is amazing. Hakuna Matata, who hasn't muttered to themselves, Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata. Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Probably the best love song to come from a Disney movie. I mean, come on. Elton John went off.
It's true.
But it's not just the like musical songs that are so fantastic. Hans Zimmer's score is maybe the best of his career. And that's crazy because I always think of Hans Zimmer's as like a 21st century composer. I forget he did the score for the fucking Lion King.
Yeah, he tends to get associated with like Chris Nolan stuff, and I don't think I realized he composed The Lion King until I saw his name in the credits, and I was like, oh, and it is a very
Hans
good
Zimmer.
score.
It's great. The way he uses African instrumentation, African choruses in a lot of it. You can tell that Hans Zimmer maybe actually did this instead of saying he did it, but one of his interns actually did that. Look that up with Hans Zimmer. There's a reason he's able to do like 30 movies a year.
Yeah.
I think the animation is gorgeous. What's really cool about the Disney Renaissance is how they implemented computer techniques, computer animation to help bring more life and more dynamics to these movies. I think the single most iconic example of that is in the Beauty and the Beast, obviously the ballroom scene.
Oh yeah.
The big sweeping camera as they're dancing. That is still a breathtaking shot. But there are some great examples of it in this movie. There's one thing in the scene where Mufasa is explaining to Simba, this is our kingdom, where there's just like this simple dolly shot around the characters. And when you think about it, that is fucking insane to animate.
Right. Yeah.
That is insane.
My understanding of like that sort of era of Disney is like they were just starting to kind of integrate CGI into their traditional animation, and like I think that's really where their look was at its peak, where they were able to
100%.
They had like the best of the cell animation combined with like not too overimposing CGI.
And they knew how to use the CGI smartly. I think it's actually best used in Aladdin, because there was this thing about the CGI back then. A lot of the time it looked kind of grainy. Aladdin, grains of sand. All the sand in that movie is largely CG, especially for the big sweeping shots or when the sand transforms into something. It's very effective that way. But we're talking about the Lion King, not the Disney Renaissance as a whole. Though I'm sure if I have it my way, we will be talking about all of them eventually. Oh my God, what's his name? Who plays Simba? I keep wanting to say Nathan Fielder, but that's not correct.
Matthew Broderick.
Thank you. Why did I confuse him and Matthew Broderick and Nathan Fielder?
Hi, I'm Simba, and I graduated from college with really good grades.
Now I'm just imagining the rehearsal, but with lions.
Just baby
he does great
cubs
work.
Getting swapped out.
He does great work. I think James Earl Jones does great work. Jeremy Irons also has a singularly iconic performance as Scar, so much so that I think that if Disney weren't cowards, they also would have brought him back for the shitty movie that they made.
Yeah.
But they didn't. And the guy that directed Moonlight is making a prequel to that shitty movie. God help us.
It's okay. Sonic 3's gonna sweep and blow it out of the water.
Sonic 3! When you watch this movie, I think the animation is obviously stunning, like I was saying. The music's stunning. It's gorgeous to look at, and it's so goddamn emotional. There's a bunch of little moments I really love, like how the movie is bookended by the Circle of Life, obviously, but it's bookended by a very specific thing at the end of the Circle of Life, that big climactic boom burst of the slamming of the drum.
Oh yeah.
As it cuts to the title card at both the beginning and ending of the movie.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That is how you make a movie.
It's the hardest title card in all of Disney history. I'll say it.
100%. It's among the hardest ever too. It's that good. The only thing that could have made it cooler is if it came in 30 minutes into the movie. If they somehow created a 30-minute cold open. Like, imagine after Mufasa dies, it cuts to the Lion King.
No, what they gotta do is they gotta do the Mandy thing where there's 3 title cards, and right before he comes back to the Pride Lands, it's just like the Lion King.
Yes! Now he has become the Lion King.
Where are you going? I'm going back.
Dude, go on! Get out of here!
Yeah, the animation's gorgeous. The music is incredible. The voice work all around is fantastic. I mean, for God's sake, it's the Lion King. It's the Lion King. I could just say that. Like, you know that episode of Family Guy where like Meg or whoever like almost wins an election by just going 9/11 into the mic every like answer? I feel like I could do that and just say the Lion King, and audience people would go, woo!
9/11 was bad.
And me saying the Lion King 1994 was good. Woo! We'll just get into it more in general discussion here after a brief commercial break. How about that?
Yeah.
Hakuna Matata, bitches.
And we're back from that commercial break for another commercial. See that thing right there? That's a movie palette. That's the one for Punch Drunk Love. Over Tim, over his shoulder, you can see the Mandy one. Basically, primary color of each frame of the movie, cut up, sliced up. It's an excellent little art piece for your living room. You can go to the website moviepalette.com, pick one of your own. You can most certainly pick one for the Lion King 1994. And I hear they have one for the 2019 one, but it's just one long brown gray strip.
Yeah, it's just all S-Log.
Yeah, it's just that movie does look like it's an S-Log, doesn't it? But before you hit checkout, enter the code SQUAD15 to save 50% on your order. Thank you very much. Back to the show. Speaking of color, the color of this movie. Wow.
It's pretty striking, which is just more reason why the remake is bad. Like, lack of expressivism in faces, lack of like vivid colors. This is just a bad direction that we seem to keep going in.
I mean, honestly, the easiest way that I can show you how bad the new one is compared to the original is just side by side, Simba reacting to the stampede.
Right.
In the original, it's this big expressive dolly shock. Simba looks, it's the colors darken. And in the other one, it's just a lion just like,
Fuck photorealism. All my homies hate photorealism.
it ruined gaming and now it's ruining movies.
Yeah.
What will it ruin next?
Your mom. I have a little bit to talk about with the be prepared scene, because I learned something recently about that, which is that about 2/3 into it, Jeremy Irons is replaced with Jim Cummings, not the director, the voice actor.
You didn't hear? You didn't know that about how he lost his voice?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. And like this time around watching it, like I was listening for it, and I think I could kind of hear Jim Cummings in there. But like he blends in really well, much better than in Anastasia, where it very clearly changes from Christopher Lloyd to Jim Cummings in the dark of the night.
Yeah, it was very fantastic. Cummings is that incredibly amazing of a voice actor for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crazy thing about this movie, this is a bit of trivia. I might just throw in some trivia throughout the general discussion. This was made by Disney's B team.
Yeah, I heard about that.
The A team was making Pocahontas. The B team was making Lion King.
That's like how with DreamWorks, the A team was making The Prince of Egypt and B team was making Shrek.
Yeah, and being Shrek was considered a punishment. I don't think being sent to work on The Lion King was considered a punishment, but I do think it was like, it wasn't the big prestige push like Pocahontas was.
Yeah.
Pocahontas was supposed to be like, damn, we got Beauty and the Beast nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, and it still is and forever will be the only film to pull that off in the 5 nominee lineup era.
Yeah.
For Best Picture. And Lion King was just a silly thing, which, by the way, how the fuck is The Lion King not nominated for Best Picture?
Right. I mean,
What was not-
94, so that was a big year.
Yeah,
Forrest
but-
Gump won, right?
Forrest Gump won, which some people disagree with. Yada, 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 yada. I get it. So oh God, this is a real murderer's row. The nominees for Best Picture that year were Forrest Gump, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Pulp Fiction, Quiz Show, and The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Hear me out. 4 Weddings and a Funeral. Put The Lion King in there instead.
That's fair. As the person who says that like genre film should be more recognized by the Oscars and who is a big fan of Pulp Fiction, I'm a little surprised that got a nom.
You didn't know Pulp Fiction was nominated?
I don't pay attention to the Oscars.
Tarantino has always been an Academy darling.
That is fair.
The crazy thing about 4 Weddings and a Funerals, though, is that it was nominated for Best Picture and Best Original Screenplay, and that's it. I think The Lion King might have had more noms.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of nominations, did you know that The Lion King, the 3-4 weeks before it came out, Elton John got to see an early cut of it? Or not an early cut of it, got to see it. It's an animated movie. There's not really an early cut, per se.
We're gonna show you the animatics.
And yeah, this is the animatic. When Elton John saw it, he discovered that the song he wrote, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, wasn't even in the fucking movie.
Ugh.
And he begged Katzenberg, hey, please put it in the movie. Eventually, Katzenberg relented, put it in the movie, and Can You Feel the Love Tonight wound up winning the Academy Award for Best Original Song that year. It was one of Elton John's 3 nominations that year, the other 2 being for Circle of Life and Hakuna Matata.
That's fair.
The Lion King also won Best Original Music for Hans Zimmer's score.
Oh, nice. Yeah, like, I'll be honest, like, as a kid, Can You Feel the Love Tonight never really, like, stuck in my mind, but, like, on this viewing, it definitely stuck out more to me.
It's a beautiful love song.
It is. Also, I don't think I ever, like, stuck around for the credits.
And you didn't hear the Elton John version?
Yeah.
It's enough to make kings and vagabonds live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, the most iconic part of the Can You Feel the Love Tonight sequence was when Nala gives Simba the fuck me eyes.
Yeah, the eyes that raised 1,000 furries.
100%. Tim, I'm curious. I know, again, you're not a very big musical guy.
It's a small world after all.
No, anything but that.
But what song in the movie is your favorite?
You know, like, Circle of Life, again, big one. I think I love Be Prepared, at least as a musical number. Like, it's a very striking song, and just visually, I really like it. That's probably the one that sticks out to me the most.
So prepare for the coup of the century. Be prepared for the murkiest scam.
My favorite song in this movie, and is basically my favorite song from a Disney movie ever, is I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
It's a good one.
And then
I do appreciate that whole number is just to get Zazu the fuck away.
it's great. I fucking love the part of like, and no one said nobody saying see here. Now see!
No one's saying stop that. No one's saying see here. Now see
Kills me every time. Rowan Atkinson, amazing in this movie. The puns are fantastic.
You were talking about James Earl Jones earlier, and like, for being in as little of the movie as he is, like, he really does like make his presence felt throughout the film. Which, I mean, James Earl Jones is somebody you could give the phone book to and it would be the most epic thing you've ever heard. He's one of those
It would
voices.
be so goddamn compelling.
Yeah. I rewatched Sleepaway Camp a few days ago, which has James Earl Jones' father, Robert Earl Jones. And he does like just sound like an older James Earl Jones, which is kind of funny to hear. Like, he wasn't in very many movies, but he was in Sleepaway Camp.
That's crazy. I did not know that Robert Earl Jones was an actor. And you know, it's a shame we don't really ever see James Earl Jones anymore. Because fun fact, in the last 10 years, his voice credits largely consist of Mufasa and Darth Vader.
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, I'd like to see more of him, but he's in his 90s, I get it. And, you know, at a certain point, you have to go the Peter Cullen route of just getting that Transformers bag.
My name is Optimus Prime.
Like, I would love to hear Peter Cullen in a Toonami promo again, but it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I get it. Matter of fact, the most modern thing I can remember seeing James Earl Jones in that wasn't him playing Mufasa or Darth Vader was an episode of House MD, where he plays a brutal African dictator committing genocide.
Oof.
That house somehow becomes in charge of medical care for. Because House was a crazy TV show. Network television is fucking insane. It was crazy then, it's even crazier now. Sometimes you see these network TV clips go viral on Twitter, and I'll watch them and I'll be like, that's why the country is this way. That's how we got this far.
Yeah.
This is what 80% of the country is watching on a nightly basis. They're watching Rob Lowe accidentally fucking collapse through a guy's chest because he's frozen.
Yeah. Back to James Earl Jones not being in much anymore. Like, I get it, but it is also sad that, like, his most recent Darth Vader credit is largely AI, and that's probably all we're gonna hear of him anymore.
Yeah, that's a shame. Well, especially because his last acting credit is Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan show, which was apparently not actually him.
Yeah.
I don't understand what happened there. Apparently it was like his voice was really AI enhanced, if not outright AI generated. I don't know.
Like, I think we talked about this when we were doing that vidcast. Like, it definitely sounds better than the god-awful Luke one, but it's still, like, I don't want AI voices in anything.
It helps that Vader just sounds robotic and was already kind of monotone. Yeah. I don't want it in anything either.
Yeah.
This is the highest grossing film of 1994 worldwide.
I can see that.
Yeah. You know what grossed more in America, though?
What's that?
That year's Best Picture winner, Forrest Gump.
Again, I can see that.
Yeah. Remember when R-rated movies used to be like the highest grossing movie of the year? Granted, I'm saying this like there isn't a movie coming out in a few weeks that might actually do that, but
yeah,
it's not exactly common anymore.
Like that again. Just I think I brought this up on Fritz the Cat episode, but whenever I was in History of Film with Pete Timmerman, he was telling us about how 1972 was a crazy year because like you had The Godfather. But then, like, the two movies that everyone was going to see were Fritz the Cat, the X-rated cartoon, and Behind the Green Door, just straight up porn.
We used to live in a different world.
We used to be a proper country.
A proper goddamn country. So, I guess while we're here, we have an opportunity to talk about the Lion King sequels.
Yeah, I watched two once or twice. So I don't know it super well off the top of my head. I never watched 1.5, but yeah, like two's pretty good. I like it.
You've never seen 1.5?
Never saw it. I think I was like older when it came out, and I was just like, yeah, that just doesn't look interesting.
I was 6 years old when it came out. You would have been 11.
I was on Spider-Man.
Yeah, you were on that new shit. We could have done an episode on Lion King 1.5. It turns 20 this year. I've only seen Lion King 2 maybe twice in my life. I have maybe seen Lion King 1.5 more times than I've seen The Lion King.
Interesting. Like
something else
I hear that people like it, so
it's great.
Maybe I'll watch it one of these days.
It's partially based off of, it's kind of an interpretation of the 1966 play. It's a play about the events of Hamlet from the perspective of two minor characters in Hamlet. It's not a Shakespeare play. It was from the 1960s, I think. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, is what it's called. Those are two minor characters in the original Hamlet. It's a tragic comedy kind of thing, because obviously the events of Hamlet are tragic, but through these two people's perspective, it's supposed to be really funny.
Yeah.
And Lion King 1.5 is sort of the same thing. I probably watched that DVD like a bazillion times as a kid. Fun fact, outside of America, it's called The Lion King 3, Hakuna Matata. Bad name. Lion King 1.5 is so fucking funny, just as a name.
Yeah. And like...
That's the greatness of the Naked Gun sequels.
Yeah. Naked Gun 33 1/3. And like, it makes more sense than calling it Lion King 3. Like, yeah, it's the third movie, but it's not third sequentially. That's like Underworld 3, Rise of the Lycans is the prequel to the first one.
Because fuck you. It's great. The entire cast returns for the most part. It has Jerry Stiller in it.
You want a piece of me? You got
it. Yeah, I'm surprised you've never seen. I'm gonna invite you over, Tim, and I'm gonna say we're gonna watch Evil Dead 1. And I'm gonna lock the door, and I'm gonna put on Lion King 1.5, and it'll be too late. You'll be strapped to my couch.
But you see, the DVD is actually All Dogs Go to Heaven 2.
Not again! So you know that part where it says SFX in the sky?
Yeah, the sex bit. The Disney animators were notoriously horny in the 90s.
I always believed the story that it said SFX, and it was a tribute to the sound department.
That's probably more realistic. Maybe it turns into sex. I don't know. I didn't analyze it closely enough.
There is the whole thing, though. I mean, Disney animators. Which one was it? There's a movie where there's a Disney movie where you can straight up see it. No, before that even. It was one of the Rescuer Down Under movies, maybe? They're like flying through an alleyway with a bunch of windows, and for a single frame, one of the windows is open and it's just a photo of a lady's breasts.
I think I heard about that one, and then there's like some stuff in Who Framed Roger Rabbit where like there's like a single frame where you can see Jessica Rabbit's vagina.
I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way. Disney, making children horny since 1939.
Truly.
That is 2 years after Snow White came out, god damn it. Since
1937?
1934. Whenever, no, Disney existed before Steamboat. The Lion King is a great movie.
We're going down an interesting path here.
So what's your favorite Disney porno parody? I think I've run out of stuff to say.
Down that road, I do love the like fun fact that apparently if you... I don't remember what creator it was, like one of the Disney Channel animators, when he got hired, he was talking about how like they took him into a room and showed him a bunch of Kim Possible porn, and they were just like, this will happen to your show.
You learn to live with it. I do love that story. This is the first time a character farts in a Disney movie. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but I believe it.
When the warthog farts, that's a Disney first.
When I was a young warthog.
You know, I just realized Scar's death is surprisingly violent for a kid's movie.
Oh,
I know it's like obscured by the flames and stuff, but like the hyenas tear him apart, while the hyenas also, I think, are burning to death.
Yeah, like that was something that always stuck with me as a kid as being like a really dark death. Like that one, and also like Tarzan, where Clayton's neck just gets snapped by a vine. Like those two are just like, wow, they went there. And like that's not even talking about like the Black Cauldron, where there's stuff that got cut because it would have given it an R rating. Like these are things that made it into the movie.
The original ending was actually supposed to be when Scar is hanging on by an edge. He begs Simba for mercy, and Simba then pulls him up, and then Scar immediately goes, haha, loser, and throws him off into what he believes to be the raging fire below. However, Simba actually lands in a tree safely, and then Scar starts laughing about his victory before he's then burned alive. And they cut that because they considered it too dark. I'm gonna be honest, that seems less dark than the one we got.
It's close. Like, I can kind of see either argument. Like, I also do love that Scar gives him the old pocket sand.
Pocket sand! Yeah, I guess I'm kind of at a loss of what more to say other than The Lion King is an amazing movie. Final thoughts, Tim?
Lion King is an amazing movie. Back to you, Tanner.
The Lion King is an amazing movie. Tim?
True.
Yeah, I guess this is just gonna be a short episode of the show. Thank you so much for watching. If you are listening on any of the audio platforms we're on, we really appreciate. Go ahead and leave us a review, boost us in the algorithm. If you're listening or watching, how about you mosey on down over to our Patreon, throw some bucks. If you donate $10 a month, you can get a shout out like Jason Secord, our most loyal financial supporter. And speaking of Patreon, Tim and I, mostly me, have an exciting announcement. We are creating a new Patreon tier with a exclusive content that you can get only by subscribing to the Patreon. Tim, you want to tell them what it is?
Yeah, so we're gonna have a tier that'll allow you to listen to some commentary tracks where we watch movies and or TV shows, and you can put us on while you're watching the movie/show and hear our thoughts and random incoherent nonsense. It'll be like we're sitting on the couch with you.
Yeah, hanging out with your best friends, and we'll just tell you right now what we're planning on having the first movie be. We're doing Space Jam.
Come on and slam.
It's gonna be a fun time. So that'll be a $5 a month tier. And later on down the line, I am planning on implementing it. So if you don't want to subscribe to the Patreon, but you still want one of these individual tracks, you can maybe purchase it down the line. But that's going to be down the line, not right away. But yeah, that's a big announcement. So that's cool. So if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. How about you mosey on down over to the comment section below and let us know what do you think of The Lion King? What's your favorite Disney song? What's your favorite Disney movie from the Renaissance era? And finally, what's your favorite entree at Red Lobster? Comment below and let us know. And while you're down there, hit the like button so you know how much you like us, hit the subscribe button so you know how much you love us, and hit the bell icons so you can know exactly when we upload new videos. Thank you again so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Long live the king.
This is the moment where Donald Trump became the Lion King.
Oh no.
Hi, I'm Tanner Richard Kraft. You may have noticed I forgot to say something very crucial during the recording of our episode on The Lion King. So I'm here to say it now. Dance! Rock! Baby! Thanks for watching.